We are live. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the FTW podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. This is episode 142, coming to you live on December 4th, 2012. Tonight we're talking about how TLC is shaping up, the road to final resolution, all that and our thoughts on the week that was WWE and TNA. My name is not Harrison, thank God. My name is Joe, and with us tonight is Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Yeah, we took Harrison out back and, buried him.
And we also have Lee. Come on,
Oh,
Lee.
we have me. We always have me.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you too, Lee. And Garvin
is. It's a pleasure to have myself.
And Garvin is manning the boards, or marrying the boards, whatever the hell I'm going to spew out of my mouth.
We're married now.
Super. If you're listening through iTunes, YouTube, or through your favorite podcast player, make sure to check out FTWpodcast.com for more about us and how to get involved with upcoming discussions and any type of discussion we have and how to give us feedback. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook. All those links are listed on FTWpodcast.com. For all those listening in the live chat tonight here at FTWlive.com, hey, glad you could make it. And, it's going to be a good show. Before we get too far into it, we're going to touch on the FTW Draft Season 3. If you're not aware of the draft, check out FTWdraft.com. For those involved on the up and up, it's time to talk the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. Here's where we stand. Representing team listeners, it is Ken, who beat Jill by only 1 point, beat her 9-8. And Team FTW is represented by Lee. And Lee, you smoked Mike 5-3.
Well, it was too easy, really. Mike's just not that good at choosing teams, really, is he?
I guess not. So, yeah, the finals for the championship. It's Lee versus Ken. This is big.
It won't be a match. I'll win. I'll tell you now. I'll win. I know I'll win. It'll be like watching Superstars being filmed live, then rewatching it. I already know what's going to happen. I'm going to win, and it's going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, you've got. Who do you think is the strongest guy on your team?
Going in there, well, I would say Ryback, but at the minute he's not really doing much. I can't really say Ryback. In fact, no, I am going to say Ryback, because knowing my luck, he'll wrestle next week. I'm going with Ryback. He is my strongest guy, because he will destroy anybody in a match. Let's face it, he's not going to lose now until TLC, and after TLC, fine.
Alrighty. Well, since that's all we're going to talk about now, because, that's all there is to talk about, is only the two teams. There's no more smack talk to be had. We're going to go over to TNA. Rob, we got to talk TNA. So, I mean, this is coming up. This is not the final show going into Final Destination, but it's the closest thing to it that we can talk about. What really stood out to you?
Well, we'd been talking so long about how TNA was really presenting a strong product and was really starting to turn the corner and was actually putting out a better wrestling program than shows like Raw. And last week we were talking about how maybe that was starting to change. Any doubt as to which direction TNA was going was eliminated if you watched this Impact. As I sat through Impact, it looked more like a really, really bad soap opera than a wrestling program to me.
Wow.
So, okay, now, are you talking U.S. soap opera, or are you talking like the Telemundos? From Mexico, or?
I'm talking, take the worst soap opera you can find from anywhere in the world, and it would be comparable to this week's Impact, especially kicking off when we had Hogan calling out Bully Ray, and Brooke runs down to the ring, and you just, it made my head hurt. It really did.
So, I mean, the show was there. You had Hogan calling out Bully Ray and trying to find out what's going on with him and Brooke. And then it goes over to James Storm and AJ Styles. I mean, give me some feedback on that, bro.
Well, I mean, you've got James Storm going on about how, he got screwed over by Storm, which he kind of did. He let Storm bait him in, everything like that. And then he's interrupted by AJ Styles, who basically accuses him of whining. I laughed my ass off at that, considering AJ Styles has been doing nothing but whining this entire year.
Good Lord, this is so... Do you know how refreshing this is, Rob? It's like you've finally seen the light after 1 month. I'm so proud of you right now. I'm nearly shedding a tear.
Well, see, I don't know what you must not listen. I've said time and time again that when TNA screws up, I call them out on it.
Yeah, you do, but at the same time, you argue then some very daft points about how it's good, and at the same time when it's not at some points. So this is where I'm just very proud of you. Deep down in my heart, I'm pretty happy.
I'm sure you are. The Storm AJ segment ends with Storm trying to get AJ focused for the tag team tonight, and AJ Styles go off looking like somebody shot his puppy dog or something.
Setting him up for a pepper on a pole match.
Exactly.
Oh, God, that was an awful match.
Wasn't it, though? Show continues on. Hogan confronts Austin Aries. And then, listens to everybody talk about why they get a title shot. And he eliminates Kenny King. Talon on TNAasylum.com asks us the question, what the hell is TNA doing with Kenny King? He was one of the more impressive ex-wrestlers this past summer, and yet he hasn't been used since Hardcore Justice. Maybe he's regretting making the jump to TNA at this point. There could be something else we don't know, but so far I would say TNA hasn't held up to their end of their bargain. Rob, what do you have to say about that one?
I'd say that the storyline reason for eliminating Kenny King was really weak. I mean, if you're going to eliminate him simply because he laughed at Austin Aries' joke of the joke that Austin Aries made when he was laying on Hogan's desk about how he didn't understand how Brooke Hogan could spend so much time laying on her back there. If you're going to eliminate Kenny King for that, you have to eliminate every X Division wrestler there because they all laughed at it. There wasn't an X Division wrestler who wasn't laughing when Austin Aries made that joke. So I have to agree with Talon on this. I don't know what the hell TNA has planned for Kenny King, but they've really dropped the ball. They need to start utilizing him more, especially with how thin TNA is in the X Division ranks at the moment. They could really use somebody like a Kenny King to help get things going and to help keep things moving in the right direction.
Well, do you think that maybe TNA, after Hardcore Justice, maybe that they don't feel that he's where they need him to be? That's why they haven't really been using him?
That's a hard argument to make. I mean, he was doing really good. I mean, he's got great talent. He's got great mic skills. He's used to performing in front of a crowd. I mean, he's got a lot of the things you look for in a wrestler, and he's got a great move set. I really don't see how you can make the argument that he isn't ready to be used, especially when your current champion of the X Division is RVD, who's still half-assing matches.
Okay. All right, so pardon me. I apologize.
You're right there.
I'm dying here. Apparently, it's so dry up here trying to fill Harrison's high throne.
Gets a little hard to breathe up there, doesn't it?
It does a little bit. So let's talk about the main event, which was Austin Aries versus Rob Van Dam. I mean, Aries beats Rob Van Dam by DQ after Bully Ray gets involved. Any Any thoughts on that? I mean, they eliminated Cash and Ion from the shot here. I mean, Garvin, what do you have to say on this?
Yeah, I think the only main saving grace about having Hogan involved in this, well, not even having Hogan involved, just the entire storyline. The only saving grace is that we're seeing some really great mic work from Austin Aries, and what they're building towards, at least what it seems like they're building towards, is Aries versus Bully Ray, and that's a match that we all raved about the last time we saw it. So I think that's the only saving grace. But to eliminate Kid Cash and Ion only on the thought that Hogan wants to see Aries get his teeth kicked in by RVD. That made absolutely no sense. That seemed pointless. Like, why involve all these guys that we would actually want to see in a match against RVD, especially Kenny King, not get it and be eliminated in this fashion? It was a difficult thing to swallow, for a TNA fan, because those are things that we would want to see. And what's that mean for Austin Aries too? Like, Rob, why are they putting Austin Aries back in the X division if there's no plans for him to be in the X division in the next couple months? Because you can't think that they're going to keep him there.
It makes no sense. I mean, I think Austin Aries really hit the nail on the head when Hogan goes on about how, the only person who hates Austin Aries more than Hogan does is RVD. And I'm like, really? I can think of a couple people. But that aside, why does RVD hate Austin Aries? What has Austin Aries done to RVD? These two, there was not a single part of that storyline that makes any sense. The only possible sense that comes from putting Austin Aries back in the X division is what Austin Aries said when he was picked. He's like, this is what I wanted. I wanted to get picked. I want to get the X division title so that I can go to Final Destination or Destination X and trade it in and get my world title back. But even for that storyline to play out, you're taking Austin Aries, who's now a main eventer, you're taking him out of the main event picture for months at a time. And it still doesn't make sense. It's just horrible booking, and I don't know what the hell TNA was thinking when they put together this show and the storyline for this show.
Yeah, and it's definitely weird. I mean, obviously they need Austin Aries on TV, but they can't keep him in that world title feud because of what's going on with Bobby Roode and James Storm. I mean, those are the main players right now. Austin Aries doesn't fit into that mix, but I don't think this specifically was the right place to put him. I still liked him.
Yeah.
I still like what he did, but it like you said, it just doesn't make sense to have RVD versus Austin Aries in a title match, right now, with no build up other than, Hogan doesn't like Aries, so he's going to give him a title match. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it. And Hogan's smarter than this. Hogan's a better bad guy than this. If Hogan wants to punish a guy by putting them in a title match, you pull an Eric Bischoff and you put him in like a fatal 4-way or a triple threat match with two or three guys who all hate Austin Aries, and you watch Austin Aries get the shit kicked out of him. There were, if you're looking to punish Austin Aries, you let Bully Ray take him. If Hogan was serious about wanting to punish Austin Aries, there were many, many better ways he could have chose to do so. It's just the storyline made no sense. And by the end of Impact, I was wondering what the hell they were doing.
Okay. So let's move on to a comment from a Facebook listener. Jesse wrote us and said, "Do you guys think Matt Morgan's new look on tonight's Impact is awesome as I do? Looks like he should be in Street Fighter, some old school knockoff wrestling game, but he looks awesome." Thoughts? Anyone on Jesse or on Matt Morgan?
I'm sorry, Rob. I think it's awesome in the standpoint of Team Beard has another member with an awesome beard. I mean, it's stellar right now. It's got some room to grow. I think he could go the distance, like Mike Knox, even an EY if we want to keep in the TNA realm. I think those are the beards that he needs to aim for. Plus the cape. The cape is fantastic.
I think you may have issues. Just letting you know now.
I mean, I want to say Austin Aries, though, was the one who really brought the cape back.
Yeah,
but anyway, I mean,
it doesn't work
his beard
as well.
Is glorious.
It doesn't work as well with the beard and with just the monstrous size of Matt Morgan.
Do you think we'll see the return of the elevator?
Everyone's been calling for that. Like everyone on Twitter, especially Diva Jill, she's been asking over and over again for the return of the elevator. I think they should. Definitely.
That's still one of my favorite moves I've seen in a long time. It's, pretty cool to watch, but I understand he can't do it to bigger guys. Of course they want him to fight bigger guys. But regardless, that's my little bit of a rant on the elevator. So, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see the elevator make a return. I mean, for as dangerous a move as you could argue that it is, Matt Morgan controls it very well. But like you said, there's a bit of an issue with him picking up bigger guys and using it on them. So the carbon footprint makes a good backup move, I guess. But I'd like to see him pick up somebody and just plant their ass on the mat.
That would
be kinky.
That would be kinky.
I better not go any further with that.
No, because they're not really planting the ass on the mat. They're planting everything else. Anyway.
Well, you'd know more about that than I would. So.
Hey-oh. So, I guess let's just shut our mouths on that one and go over to gut check. All right, Rob. Gut check. Wes Briscoe.
Wes Briscoe lost to Garrett Bischoff. Do I really need to say any more?
No, he defeated Garrett Bischoff.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he defeated. That's right. It's just he performed so badly. I blanked out and thought. I wasn't happy with this because the potential that Wes Briscoe has is there, but there were wrestlers without the connections that Wes Briscoe had that had Briscoe's level of talent or more talent than Briscoe that didn't get the contract. And you heard it come out in the judges' comments. The judges basically said, we're going to give you a comment because Kurt Angle's been bugging us and because we know your family. Now, granted, anybody who's any kind of a wrestling fan realizes that it's a lot easier to break into the wrestling business if you have connections. But I think that kind of overt comment and that kind of overt pointing out of the connections and everything in the gut check segment, I think is actually going to end up hurting gut check as it goes forward.
Well, but this is obviously not a normal gut check. This is, a story-based thing. So I don't think this has anything to do with gut check itself. But I'm wondering.
They did it under gut check.
I know, but I don't.
I know it's. I mean, I know it's storyline based too. But they used gut check to carry out the storyline. That was a bad move on TNA's part, I think.
But there were also some other factors in this. Like we didn't have Al Snow. So we didn't know what what's going on with him, and D'Lo Brown got involved. So obviously there's something else going on that we should probably look at. Like where do you think that they're going to go with this?
Wes Briscoe is a member of Aces and Eights, and he took out Al Snow because Al Snow was going to vote no. That's really all I've got, and I know it's stretching, but it's really not doing anything that TNA management and creative hasn't been doing with the Aces and Eights storyline anyways. When you look at the Aces and Eights storyline, what I just threw out is completely reasonable and possible.
Yeah, I don't think you're on a line, Rob. I think that's exactly where they're going. I have the same theory, except for I also throw in, Garrett Bischoff being involved too. I throw out the idea that D'Lo Brown was involved, that, they were all involved in this together, because it all seemed to work out perfectly, if that's the direction they're going to go. You might even want to throw out Kurt Angle's name in there, even though he did get attacked backstage a few months ago. It's possible. It's possible that Angle might be involved, but for sure, I think D'Lo is involved. I think Garrett Bischoff is involved, and I think that Wes Briscoe is involved, just to get someone from Aces and Eights on the inside.
Oh yeah,
I think it makes perfect sense.
And Eric Bischoff, I could probably see being involved. Kurt Angle, D'Lo Brown, I'm not too sure about, but it's entirely possible with how TNA's been writing the Aces and Eights storyline so far.
Okay.
I mean, you could write off Angle being involved as the fact that even though it doesn't make sense because he's been attacked by Aces and Eights, you can also say that every person that Aces and Eights has tried to take out, they've taken out. Except for Kurt Angle, who's always been one step ahead of them.
I think that's a pretty valid point, Rob. But I mean, okay, we'll move on to looking forward to next week. It's announced Devon versus Samoa Joe for the TV title, and
it's going to be an epic match, and Joe's going to kill him.
See, I like the idea because Devon didn't really lose his title.
Right, Devon's title got sidetracked first by Bound for Glory, and then when Devon ran into the contract disputes, he kind of lost the title that way. Right.
And I can't wait to see if Devon's going to get his title back, but it should be a good match, and I think you're right. I think Joe is going to kill him. The other match that was announced was Kurt Angle versus Doc. Where do you think that one's going to go?
This will be one of those matches that I think should let us know whether or not Angle's involved. If Angle gets taken out and injured, it's going to be pretty safe to say, okay, Angle wasn't involved. He was a good guy in all of this. If Angle manages to stay one step ahead of Aces and Eights and manages to weasel out of danger again, I think you can make a strong case that he might be in on something.
Okay. Anybody else want to comment on it?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. I mean, if you look at the last match that Angle had, he had with Devon and basically was able to escape the ring without any type of attack from Aces. I mean, like they stormed the ring, but he was able to get out in time. It did seem kind of odd that happened. I think that was something that we all talked about over the last pay-per-view. So that's possible, yeah.
And what was odd about it was the fact that Devon taps out and Kurt Angle darts out of the ring, and most of the ring is surrounded by Aces and Eights, but they just stood there and watched him leave. Whereas with any other wrestler, they would have moved to cut him off. But then again, TNA's writing this week by week, so you never know what's going on.
Could they be letting Vince Russo back in? Ooh.
God, I hope not.
So you say that now, but
well, I mean, who knows? Okay, so let's talk a bit about Final Resolution, namely the fact that we've got some speculation matches here. like a TNA versus Aces and Eights match, which would be Angle. We're speculating Angle, Garrett, and Briscoe against Devon, the Director of Chaos, and Armbreaker. Where are you guys laying on this one?
I do think we're going to have some kind of a TNA versus Aces and Eights match. I think Devon, DOC, and Armbreaker are good choices for Team Aces and Eights. If we're right about Garrett and Briscoe being with Aces and Eights, this could be where we see that revealed when they betray, they might betray Angle, and you might see a 5-on-1 beatdown of Kurt Angle. And for that reason, I would go with Team Aces and Eights winning, if the match stays the way it is right now.
Okay. Lee?
I'd probably agree with Rob. I would go with Aces and Eights winning if it stays like this. They need something, because, as we said, it's been booked on a week-by-week basis. And at the minute, for me, I'm not really digging what's going on at the minute, to be brutally honest, with Aces and Eights. So I'd like to actually see them win and just get over for a little bit.
Okay. Garvin? Wow, I pulled a Harrison there, didn't I?
Yeah, if this is the direction they're going, which it does seem like they're going to go, I have a hard time believing that each member of who we're suggesting, which is Angle, Garrett, and Briscoe versus Aces and Eights, I have a hard time believing that all members are involved, so that would be a good sign that Angle is not involved. Just because Garrett's not, they're all going to turn on Garrett, that would be kind of lame. Yeah, I don't know, but as far as that goes, if that is the scenario that we're going to go with, Aces and Eights would win because there would be a turn of some fashion. So I agree.
Okay. I'm actually going to say that Team TNA is going to win because when Garrett and Briscoe turn on Angle and possibly leave him to hang, I think Angle is going to end up taking the pin. So, I'm sorry. There'll be a DQ. It'll go almost no contest, and Angle's gonna, yeah. My point's on Team TNA to go against Aces and Eights actually getting an official win. There we go. God, that was
Well
really
done.
tough.
Well done.
All right. Another speculation match. Oh my God. I need another beer. X Division Championship, RVD versus maybe Kenny King, maybe Zema Ion, maybe Kid Cash, maybe Christian York. RVD or random X Division wrestler. Rob, who are you taking?
Well, until we get a clearer picture of who random wrestler would be, I'm going to have to go with RVD. I could change that based on who they put up to face RVD.
Fair enough. Lee?
It's going to be RVD. Yeah, exactly. We've got to wait until see who the due to put against him. But RVD for the minute, unfortunately. No.
Okay. Garvin?
I'm going to go with random person. If you look back to this week's Impact, Hogan said to Kid Cash that, his time is coming. And I almost want to say that this might be his time. We might see Kid Cash versus RVD and finally see a solid title reign for Cash. I think that would be interesting, mostly because I don't like RVD and I'm sad that he's the champion. And I'd rather have Kid Cash.
How's the random wrestler done in terms of how's he done? Over the past couple of weeks, has he been in good form? Or?
Well, the thing is look at the X Division in general. This was like RVD's first appearance in 2-3 weeks. They aren't giving any of these guys a lot of time at all. So, at this point, I think they can make some. They can experiment a little, and I think RVD has done as much as he's going to do and as well as he's going to do. I think they can move the title to someone who will ultimately do better.
Just make sure they don't let RVD experiment, for Christ's sake.
What?
It had potential.
I said, don't. Did no one get that? I said, don't let RVD experiment.
Okay, you kind of got a little low in the volume there, and it kind of broke up a little bit. That's why I was asking.
Well, that's just a bit shit.
Well, it's just a bit of fucking accent. No, I kid. I'm still going out.
Worse than Harrison.
I know. I'm totally off my game tonight. I volunteered for the hosting duties tonight when Harrison said he wasn't going to be on, and I'm suffering for it.
It's turned into this. Yeah, it's turned into something a lot worse.
Yeah. So maybe I should.
It could be worse. No, Joe, it could be worse. It could be Garv. Then we're ready and shit.
No, then we're excelling. But I'm gonna have to stick with you guys. I'm gonna say the majority of you guys. I'm gonna say RVD is gonna walk away with the title. I don't see Kenny King winning it. I don't see Kid Cash winning it. Ion, I don't think it's his time to hold it again, and Christian York, I think, is a little too fresh. So
Christian York might have a chance, but he's really the only one. Kid Cash has a horrible record against RVD. For some reason, they never let Kid Cash beat RVD. ECW almost never let Cash beat RVD either. It doesn't matter what company these two are in. RVD almost always manages to get the win over King Cash. Kid Cash, rather.
Well, maybe it's because he thinks he's a kid and he's like 45.
That could be. That could be. I mean, maybe it's just a case of, will you change your fucking gimmick already?
Just tweak it a little bit, like a nipple.
Okay, well, you tell him that. You go and tell him that to his face.
I will.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna.
I'll have Joe with me, and we'll both have weapons.
Okay, what the fuck's Joe gonna do, for Christ's sake? I know he's married, but he can't do much for you.
Joe will be my human shield.
Him. Like the crowd says, Joe's gonna kill you. I'll kill him.
Oh my god.
Moving on to the speculated TV championship match. We already briefly touched on this idea, but Devon versus Samoa Joe for the TV championship?
Yeah,
Lee, what are you thinking? Oh, Garvin, go ahead.
Sorry, I was trying to jump in. I like the idea of Devon getting this match, but I can't see what scenario it would make sense. Like, why would he get a title shot? Like, what would have to happen on this week's Impact so that Devon gets a rematch on Final Resolution? I can't think of it.
It's not the easiest thing to book it.
Yeah. Chair shot on Samoa Joe. Or something's going to happen where the match is going to get broken up. Ace and Nates gets involved. And it's going to leave it a no contest, so we'll see it happen.
Either that, or incredibly worst case scenario, Devon wins the title from Samoa Joe, and they book the rematch for the pay-per-view.
That's not a bad idea. That's actually okay. That's a scenario that would make sense.
Yeah, it would make sense.
I wouldn't like it, but it would make sense.
No, that definitely. I think that could make sense. See, I'm going to say in this instance, Samoa Joe wins. Lee?
Well, yeah, it's got to be Samoa Joe. It's
still going to kill you.
Okay.
Exactly.
So everybody's in agreement on that one then. So Devon doesn't take it?
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, Samoa Joe leaves Final Resolution with the title, but I do like the idea of maybe Devon winning this week.
Okay.
I think you're mad. I don't see it at all. I really don't. It's wrong. It is wrong. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah, but okay, just like what's coming from the live chat, Diva Joe live chat, she says, Devon wins on Impact with shenanigans, so Joe gets a gimmick match at the pay-per-view. You have Aces and Eights gets involved this week to cause Joe to lose the title, and then he gets the rematch because he goes to Hogan and demands it, kind of thing. I think that would make sense, and it would fit the overall storyline for the most part.
It's too weak, though. It's too crap. It's too much of an excuse to book a match rather than anything else. It's
definitely too last minute, but who else is Samoa Joe going to fight at Final Resolution? There really is no one.
Just give him Ryback, for Christ's sake. Have it done.
Ryback is in another company.
All right, get Goldberg back for him.
Get Goldberg. Oh, Goldberg versus Samoa Joe.
That'd be awful.
That match would be awesome and terrible all at the same time.
Okay. Slightly off topic, but since we're talking Samoa Joe, did anybody catch the CM Punk tweet where someone asked him if you could face anybody in wrestling, any wrestler in existence that isn't currently active, who would you face? And he said Samoa Joe.
Wow.
Just to be clear, though, that isn't the first time he's made that comment. I think he said the same thing at his first Comic-Con that was publicized. He said,
yeah,
he said
right, but if it's one thing to say, if I could wrestle anybody ever, I'd pick Samoa Joe. That's one thing, but saying anybody who's not active and still pick Samoa Joe, what's that say about TNA?
Well, it's a slide dig.
I mean, I think part of that too is CM Punk has been on record a few times, kind of agreeing with us that TNA has not used Samoa Joe properly. So, I mean, it doesn't really justify the not active thing, but I mean, I know CM Punk has been kind of the voice that Samoa Joe is one of many wrestlers getting screwed over.
I totally agree. I mean, I would love to see that match. So, hey.
Oh, God, yes. CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. Jesus Christ.
If you've seen it in the indies, then if you put it onto a bigger stage, that could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine that at a WrestleMania next year?
No, I can't, because WWE would never go there.
You never know.
No, I don't think they would.
I think you can. The WWE has a proven track record with Samoan wrestlers.
Yeah,
what, you mean like Umaga?
Yeah, like Umaga. And just about everybody else who's Samoan that isn't named Dwayne Johnson.
What? Who's he?
The Rock.
Yeah, he'll end up with a few matches, and they'll be short. They'll be about 3 minutes. Wait, did somebody say 3 minutes?
We got
exactly
3 minutes and we're out of here. God, that was. Do you know what? Everyone shits on that. I loved that.
I liked the gimmick too. It just got a little annoying.
I thought it was quite funny.
The gimmick was good, but they had them start losing too soon. Anyway, we're still talking TNA. Another speculated match.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, it's my fault. Speculation match. Our final speculation match: Bully Ray versus Austin Aries. Rob, you seem to indicate that you're expecting Bully Ray to win that one. Why?
Because I think Bully Ray is going to beat the living shit out of Austin Aries for making jokes about his girlfriend. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I spoil the storyline there that TNA wants people to believe isn't happening, but actually is writing?
Well, I mean, hey, that's your thought. Lee, where are you going with this one?
Undecided.
Undecided. All right.
I'm undecided. I don't like to make a comment unless I know where or at least I think I know where it's going, and I'm not sure.
Okay, so Lee does not pick Garvin.
I'm also sort of undecided. Leaning towards Bully Ray. I think, generally speaking, they give a lot of people a cycle. So Aries was winning a lot. Now it's time for him to lose a few matches, and I think it would make sense to have this be a match that he would lose, just because they're obviously going to continue this storyline, which we don't like. But I think Bully winning, defending Brooke Hogan's honor, is the way that they're probably going to go versus. And
losing. Finally convincing Hogan to trust him.
Right, yeah, and that's been a big key of this too, is that Bully wants Hogan to trust him, so Bully is gonna, defend Brooke's honor to get that. I think really that's probably going to be the only way for him to, in a sense. I don't know. I don't like the match. I don't like the story. Well, I'm sorry. I don't like the story. I love the match, and I think it's probably going to be one of the matches of the night if they do, in fact, book it. But
yes,
I'm
Austin
leaning,
Aries and Bully Ray will put on a great match.
But I'm leaning towards Bully in this scenario.
Just on that note, what you guys just need to trust me that I will win this draft. Just to let you know, you can trust in me. Believe in me.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
What you're on about? What? What are you looking at now? You're on about the trust storyline, and I'm just adding to that, just saying you can trust me in relation to that. What were you all sounding confused for?
This is like one of those transitions that like Harrison tries to make that no one gets. You are filling in for Harrison now.
Wow.
Everyone's got to take a shift. I'm going to go with Bully Ray to win this one, just because they want to push the Bully Ray storyline. And on top of that, why is he still called Bully Ray? I think James Hornsby from botchbot.com nailed it a few weeks ago when he did a comic where, everyone's picking at a kid, and then Bully Ray comes up and says, "You got a lot of heart and guts. I respect the crap out of you." He's just not a bully anymore, right?
Yeah, usually.
Maybe he'll go back to being brother.
Or Bubba.
Brother Wade.
No, can't go back to Bubba.
No, that's trademarked.
Trademarked by the WWE now.
That's right.
Sign the wrong paperwork.
From the live chat, how about Buddy Ray?
Buddy
Everyone's
Ray.
Buddy.
Buddy Ray.
He comes out in footy pajamas.
Jesus Christ.
Looking like a bad Eugene. All right, we're going to go over to the official
Bring
matches.
back his stupid stuttering gimmick for a little while.
Hey, that would work. A little touch back to bring back some of the tie-dye. All right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's going to be born a little less than a month, man. So, going to the official matches, AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels in a match that we've seen countless times. Garvin, where are you picking here? Or Garvin stepped away and I totally missed that notification. Lee, where are you going on this one?
I'll take a chance and say Chris Daniels. And it is a big chance. Because I don't think he's going to win. But I'm fuck it. Go for it. I do think AJ will win overall, but my heart is telling me to go with Chris Daniels.
And your heart will go on. Rob.
Let's see. Styles versus Daniels 5,000. I'm going to go with AJ Styles just because they're setting it up too strongly for Daniels to win. I mean, you've got AJ Styles moping around. He's wrestling uncharacteristically bad. I mean, he's really pushing the distracted gimmick. He's missing a lot of moves that he hits. He's having trouble with even his trademark stuff. AJ Styles is really selling the doesn't have his head in the game thing. And I think that points to him winning.
Okay. Garvin?
I think it's too early to stop that. I think it's too early for them to basically, turn his luck around. I think it would make more sense for AJ to lose this match cleanly, distracted, whatever you want to call it, to continue the direction that they're going to go in. Because I'm really interested in this direction. I would rather them continue pushing this to see what they do versus change his momentum and have AJ meandering a bit, like they normally do. So, and also, I could be wrong. I didn't do any research, so I probably am. But I don't remember Christopher Daniels ever winning one of these matches. Like the last two or three, it's been AJ winning.
Technically, Daniels has won. They had an Iron Man match, which technically ended in a tie, but Christopher Daniels locked AJ Styles in the Koji clutch, and AJ Styles passed out before time ran out of the match.
What's the time frame on that?
This would be early 2000s. I want to say 2005, but I could be wrong.
Okay, well, for as long as I've been a TNA fan, Daniels has not won one of these matches. And really, AJ has been on somewhat of a roll. I mean, despite him being distracted, you know, he is still winning matches. You know, he won the match last week with James Storm, despite James Storm basically winning the match. It's still a win in his column. So I think I'd rather see them actually push AJ into the pit before they bring him out and do probably nothing with him.
Yeah, so would I, but the problem with that is they're advertising this as the last match ever between Styles and Daniels. Now, obviously, we know that's not going to happen. These two will fight again. But to have AJ Styles lose, I mean, kind of really shoots.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Also, Ken in the live chat is saying he's listing matches in the last 2 years. He listed 2 matches in the last 2 years where where Christopher Daniels won, but they're both impacts. I think, you know, what I'm specifically talking about is like the big payoff pay-per-view matches. Daniels doesn't win those as far as I can remember. So I like the idea of Daniels winning and them having another match, you know, within a year, maybe Bound for Glory, like it's being talked about in the live chat as well.
And the Iron Man match I was describing was a pay-per-view, but I don't remember which one. Like I said, it was back a while. But, so, yeah, they have gone kind of back and forth, but...
Okay. I'm going to have to go with AJ only because he's the TNA pretty boy, and like you said, Christopher Daniels never seems to lose matches. That's
right. Basic.
It is. It's just he doesn't win. The Knockouts Championship. Mickie James versus the champion, Tara. Let's start with Rob.
Mickie James is going to win because she's still coming... I think she's still coming off of the welcome back from, you know, her health issues that caused her to take time off. And she is the female John Cena. It's probably written in her contract that she has to have at least 6 title reigns a year. So I think they're going to give it to her. And when you factor in that the Tara storyline is really just stalling and not going anywhere, it makes a lot more sense to give it to Mickie James.
Okay. Lee?
You say she's the female John Cena, though, but John Cena hasn't won a title this year.
What can I say? She's better at being John Cena than John Cena is.
She takes injuries off at right times, I'll give her that. I can say... I'll play it safe. No, I'll go with Rob and say Mickie James will get the title because she's still on a little farewell. Sorry, not farewell, a little comeback. Yeah, but at the same time, I would see Tara winning as well, just because she's just Tara. Tara's great.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Tara. I just don't like the storyline they're running with her currently.
Oh no, I don't either. No.
But as far as women wrestlers go, Tara is definitely one of the most skilled women wrestlers out there today.
Absolutely.
So Lee, you're going with Mickie then?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we'll go with Mickie.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Mickie too, only because she's more of an icon and someone they can put on advertising. Tara's just got, you know, the boyfriend sleaze gimmick going on, and it's nah.
It's nah.
It's nah.
You summed it up perfectly. What took me over a minute, Joe hit in like 30 seconds with nah.
What can I say? I'm a wordsmith.
The gimmick that you're doing.
Meh.
Yeah, the story that they're doing there is pretty bad, but I gotta think that they're gonna go a little bit longer on it because really they just introduced that, you know, within the last 2 months, so they have to continue to push it, and to give Mickie the title right off the bat irritates me, and I don't want to see it. I'd rather more build up, and I think having James back to take on Tara next pay-per-view will be awesome, but Tara needs to have the title now. So Tara wins.
Okay.
Like,
What, Lee?
I'd like to very quickly thank Gar for reminding me that it's only been a couple of months since this gimmick was introduced.
It seems like forever, but it has only actually been a couple of months.
Dear God.
You summed up my thoughts perfectly, Lee.
Ugh.
Dear God.
Moving on to the TNA Tag Team Championships. Chavo and Hernandez against Joey and Matt. Joey Ryan and Matt Morgan. Where do you think that one's going to lie, Lee?
There's only really one team who can win, Chavo and Hernandez, but I am so bored of them now. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm fed up with Chavo and his stupid fucking ways. I get very annoyed by him because he's just not his own character, and it really bores me. And I don't necessarily like what they're doing with Joey Ryan either, and Matt Morgan, to be brutally honest, but I'd take that over Chavo at this point in time. He's killing me. He really is.
Garvin?
Lee, I agree with you about Chavo. I think this has been a wasted opportunity with him. They've done absolutely nothing to get him to connect with the fans, get him to connect with anything. He's, how often has he been in the ring for TNA since he debuted? 4 times, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. He needs to be out there more. It's not gone over well. But I think you're blind, or you're just ignorant if you think Joey and Matt Morgan aren't awesome. And they're going to win.
So, say that again?
Wow.
I think you're either blind or
Yep.
ignorant, or a hipster just trying to, say that they're not awesome, even though you know they are.
Oh. You just wait. I'm lining something back up for that, but you just wait. I'll let you have that one. You just wait till later.
I was going to say that's the best British comeback I've heard. I'm going to go with Joey Ryan and Matt Morgan because I think that they're going to be they're the up and coming team, and they're going to be what's really going to draw people into the tag team division because they saw that Chavo isn't working. Just because you team Chavo up with another Mexican wrestler, even if it's someone as big as Super Mex, Hernandez he's slow. They sent him down to AAA to get work, some time ago, and they thought he was good enough, and they brought him back up. But, I don't think he's living up to their expectations. So I think he's also helping drag down Chavito, and Chavo at least sped up the 3 amigo suplexes that Eddie used to do. So now he actually looks a little bit more like Eddie doing it, and not like a hapless oaf. Because really, watching him do that in like epic slow motion where it takes him 5 minutes to do the damn move, really? Ugh. Don't do it.
Commercial.
You could go to commercial, come back, he'll be doing the 3rd one. Just it to me that almost it's disrespect to Eddie. I know that sounds stupid, and a lot of people are probably going to bitch me out for it, but yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, YouTube's going to hate you for that.
Yeah, YouTube's going to hate me.
Yeah.
World Heavyweight Championship, Bobby Roode versus Jeff Hardy. Huh? Oh, sorry, Rob. Sorry, Rob.
I know I talked for a while, but geez, are we just cutting me out here?
Yeah, we are. No. Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
I'm going to side with Lee, and I'm going to pick Chavo and Hernandez. I agree that Chavo and TNA haven't really made the most of Chavo coming into TNA, but I think you're completely wrong about Hernandez. I think he has been making the most of his comeback. Joey Ryan and Matt Morgan, I think TNA is still building up, and I don't see them giving them the titles just yet. I'm going to stick with Chavo and Hernandez.
Okie dokie. So we're pretty split on that one. World Heavyweight Championship, Bobby Roode versus Jeff Hardy. Garvin, where you stand on it?
I'm going with Jeff Hardy. I think it's too soon to take the title off him. Yeah, that's about it. It's too soon.
Okay. Rob, Bobby Roode or Hardy?
I'm going to go with Bobby Roode for James Storm to really get a shot at the title requires a good heel, and hey, guess what? Bobby Roode happens to be a good heel.
Okay, Lee?
Yeah, it's going to sort of donkey dick, but yeah, Jeff Hardy's going to win.
All right. I'm going to go with Bobby Roode, only because, yeah, the James Storm thing. You need to set up a good few. You could have those guys run for a few months, and that'll move you on further to where you want to put the title going forward. So I think you've got a feud built in between the two of those guys, so it's easy to use Jeff as the transitional champion. So we'll talk more about this on Thursday as we'll sit down once again to talk TNA Final Resolution. Join us and the rest of the live chat hooligans on December 6th, directly after Impact goes off the air at 10 p.m. Eastern. Jumping over to TNA news. We're gonna do this quick hit style. You got 30 seconds to make a comment on this. In 2013, it's being reported that TNA will move forward with a 10 pay-per-view schedule. Both Marches Against All Odds and September's No Surrender have been removed from the schedule. Quite possibly, we might see another 2 pay-per-views drop, but regardless, was it a good move? Rob?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it gives them more time to build up. It doesn't cost as much. It saves them a little bit of money from putting on pay-per-views, and I don't know if wrestler pay rates change on pay-per-views, so it could save them money on a number of fronts. And all around it'll just make things better. I mean, you've only got 10 pay-per-views. That gives you a lot more time to build stuff up.
Lee?
I don't think we're going to be able to tell until the actual next year, see what the quality of the TV is like. Then we'll judge from there.
Okay, Garvin?
Lee is correct, but I do think, just the idea that they'll have more time to build up pay-per-views is good. I think they can give much needed TV time to like the X Division, everything else, if they have more time to spare between pay-per-views. So good move.
I'm going to agree with you guys. I think this was a good move. I think that really cramming too many pay-per-views down our throats is a bad thing. And, really, for good storytelling and good build-up, I think not rushing into pay-per-views is a great idea. So, good move on TNA's part. This question was also asked on Facebook and Twitter. And Twitter's Ultra Warrior says less pay-per-views will help them properly build matches, but sadly I think it'll just give Hogan more time to yap. Ronald James says, this is something I always thought WWE should be doing because there are too many pay-per-views and not enough time to build storylines for the next pay-per-view. It's a good idea for TNA because it gives them enough time to build storylines and a reason to order the pay-per-view. Nice point, Ronald. Deuce Loosely says this goes toward the belief that TNA has been making the right choices and heading in the right direction since before Bound for Glory last year. Just another reason their product is better than WWE. Luis Arvello says, great idea. If used right, they could actually have enough time to build every match instead of last-minute fillers. Corey Farley says, yes, it's a good idea. Hold only the big pay-per-views and hold free events on Spike to take or replace them. Since Spike is owned by Viacom, which will also own CBS, use a few of these specials for national broadcasts. Introduce the TNA product to those who don't have cable or satellite. So, there you go on that one. Also from the live chat, apparently Ken and Diva Jill look to be making a trade in the live chat. Ooh. So, it hasn't been announced. It hasn't been announced.
It's not been announced. I'm here in the final and it's not been announced. I'm the only one that counts. What the hell is going on?
Oh, I don't know the details. I only get a small snippet. Calm down, Lee.
This isn't good enough.
So, anyway, that's your week in TNA, but we'll talk again this Thursday for our Final Resolution special. So that works out really, really well. Now we'll move on to WWE because we've spent, an hour on TNA, which is usually more than we generally spend on TNA. Anything we really want to talk about in WWE this week? WWE's main event, John Cena and Damian Sandow. It may be absurd, but I think that was a phenomenal match. I really liked Damian Sandow working with John Cena. It shows that he's got a lot of talent, and he put on a very good match with the top talent. So I give them major props for that one.
Hell, it made Cena look good.
It made Cena look good, and Sandow looked good making Cena look good.
Very true.
So, one topic that came up during the week was the question, why should I care about the Cena and AJ relationship? Diva Jill popped off on Twitter saying you shouldn't. She was already fired from being GM and didn't give Cena any preferential treatment when she was GM. Hell, wasn't Cena injured for most of AJ's run as GM? One good thing I will say about AJ Styles, Dixie Carter, was actual potential consequences. We had no idea how long the potential affair had gone on, and it cast a shadow of doubt over all AJ's past accomplishments. And they were both supposedly happily married. There were reasons to care, not many, but at least they were there. You guys have any thoughts on those comments and the AJ Cena relationship?
Yeah, it's dead on, Joe. I mean, the thing is, it's like they haven't given us a reason to care about this. That's why I was asking. It's like, why? Why are we seeing this, and why should we care? Because they haven't given us that. They haven't given us anything. It's ridiculous. It's dominating so much time, but there's nothing good out of it except for Dolph Ziggler's involved. Otherwise, it's awful.
Yeah, I think Jill hit the nail right on the head. I mean, with AJ Styles and Dixie Carter, there were actual potential consequences. I mean, if the two of them were having an affair, you could make the argument that some of AJ Styles' accomplishments were a direct result of his affair with Dixie Carter. Christopher Daniels and Kazarian did a great job of pushing this. You heard Daniels out there all the time saying, this is why AJ Styles gets pushed to the moon. AJ Styles, AJ Styles, AJ Styles. Well, he gets shoved down our throats because he's busy with Dixie Carter. There's nothing like that with John Cena and AJ in the WWE. There is, as Garvin and Jill said, absolutely no reason to care. I'm
just going to say now that if you cared about the AJ and Dixie storyline, I don't know if I'm on my own here, but you were insane.
I'm not saying I cared. I'm saying that there were at least some legitimate reasons to care about it. That there were some places that TNA could have gone with it. They didn't really hammer home the right spots on that storyline, but there were actual points to care about there. The WWE hasn't given anything yet.
And let's be fair, outside of, I'm sorry, Lee. Let's be fair about who's not really caring about everything. It's not just us not caring. It's not just WWE not really caring to do something well. It's that Cena obviously doesn't care about it. Like the kisses are not real. Like what is going on?
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, it's obvious that Cena does not like the storyline and is just going along with it because he's the company guy.
It's incredibly awkward to watch her kiss her. That's true. And at least they're giving us something. They're doing something to keep AJ in the spotlight, I think is what it is.
That's bad.
Dope.
It's bad. I mean, the supposed rumor was the fact that it would attract a more female audience, but Jesus Christ, if that's their reasoning, then God help us all.
Yeah, if anything, you just put Cena in a Speedo and the women can gawk at him or something. I don't know. Speaking of John Cena, on SmackDown, he wrestled a match against Alberto Del Rio and won via pinfall. After the match, Ziggler ends up hitting Cena with the briefcase on the ramp. This match, I mean, Lee, what did you think of this match? Because, I mean, I thought it was pretty damn good, especially for Alberto Del Rio.
That was the one thing that got me. It was Del Rio. And I was expecting something boringly awful and God help us all. And every time I see Del Rio's face, he's literally just moved the damn Sky Plus forward. But no, turned out to be a good match. And Del Rio looked good. I don't know what the hell happened, but when Del Rio can actually get in the ring with someone who he likes, I don't know, whatever happens, he actually, it kicks off well. It was pretty good.
Yeah, Del Rio, I mean, just to touch over on Raw briefly, there was a match between Alberto Del Rio and Sin Cara, and oh my gosh, for those two guys, that was an amazing match. I really want to see a feud between the two of them go now.
Yeah, but the wrong guy won.
I agree. I agree in that one. But it actually made both guys look strong. It shows that Alberto Del Rio can work, a higher paced match because Sin Cara's offense is more higher paced. But
I get very bored of seeing Del Rio just win matches, and it's just kind of the same repetitive formula, 6 months at a time, which is essentially what it has been, and that's what I just can't get into Del Rio. He might have some good matches, but at the same time, Tyson Kidd can have some good matches, but I just can't get fully behind him because he's got no character. So,
well, I mean, if you're gonna bring up Tyson Kidd, let's jump over to the SmackDown match of Tyson Kidd versus Damian Sandow. While Damian Sandow won the match, and it was a good match, I'm being impressed. I'm being more and more impressed with Sandow, and of course, Kidd's been phenomenal. But the thing that really gets me is Damian Sandow is like pulling all the best '80s gimmicks. He's got a touch of the genius, and a touch of, God rest his soul, Ravishing Rick Rude. He's pulling people out of the audience now to be his apprentice. So then he brings them in and he asks them trivia questions to see if they're intelligent. And then, it's like a generally easy, and then a tough question, and just tears them a new one. I like that because, if you think back to Ravishing Rick Rude, he would just, he'd call up a woman, just make out with her and just kind of treat her like crap thereafter. And, I'm really liking the Sandow character more and more. I mean, does anybody want to comment on him, or am I alone in this?
No, I also agree. I like Damian Sandow. I like everything they're doing with him. Also throw the name the $1 Million Man. He kind of did something like this as well, with pulling some people out from the crowd to show that, anyone has a price type of thing.
The infamous basketball incident?
Yeah. That's actually being talked about in the live chat as well. So, overall, I like Damian Sandow. I hope that, it's a nice change of pace, because normally when you see a guy who's doing well as a tag team, once they split him up, he kind of goes to the wayside for a bit, and they haven't stopped with him. They haven't stopped pushing him. And that's great. Even look at Kofi. It seemed like once they split that team up, with him and Truth, that they didn't give Kofi the same push, but with Sandow they are giving him the opportunity, and I like it.
Cool. Other things that happened on Raw. Team Hell No defeated the Primetime Players. Afterwards, the Shield attacks Team Hell No and leaves.
Okay. I'm going to just put this out there right now. This is half a spoiler, but the TLC main event has been cancelled.
Yeah, do we just want to jump into that conversation? We might as well.
Yeah, I mean, now that we've done it. I mean, yeah.
Now that I've done it, yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that earlier and I posted that into our private discussion, but the match the main event has changed.
Yeah, and let's just explain what's taking place. WWE.com, they posted a story this morning basically saying that CM Punk was going under the knife to have some emergency surgery on his knee. I think they released another update in the afternoon, basically saying like his knee was scoped, slightly torn meniscus, but that's a pretty terrible surgery. I mean, like any surgery requires some time off, and we're talking like 2 weeks, so it's kind of obvious that was the direction they're going. But really surprising, really surprising.
The only reason I brought it up is because I've just found out what match is taking that place of that, and it suggests to me that match won't main event. But I have a feeling the John Cena and the Ziggler match may main event.
Okay.
That's my guess from now. Just based on the match that's been announced, but again, it is a spoiler, so I don't know where you want to go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you've got that. Yeah. Did we actually say what the match was? I kind of just slipped out there.
I have. Basically, it's the Shield will make the debut.
Right.
Put it that way.
Yeah. Attacking Team Hell, they attack Team Hell No and at Raw, so I guess it leads to be a pretty good lead-in toward having them in a match at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid pick. I mean, again, the three guys that are in there itself can all wrestle, and they can all wrestle very well. The guys who they'll easily get over, but what they need to do is they need to win this match at TLC. When it becomes clear on SmackDown, they should go over these people, and they should just get it clear, because if they don't, they'll start losing that momentum, just a bit like the original Nexus did, and it damaged them a bit.
I agree with you on that one. If you've got more comments on this one, I was going to move on. So if you've got more comments on it, go for it, Lee.
No, it's just I just feel like the Shield need to be pushed and pushed. They need to be the next big thing. For the meantime, just to try and do something. I mean, because WWE storylines right now are just stale, and most of it is quite stale in my opinion at the minute.
Yeah, and I think that's the direction they're going. I mean, they are giving the Shield a lot of airtime over the last couple of weeks. But okay, so let's go with the idea that we're going to see Shield at TLC. So Shield versus Hell No. That seems like the obvious choice. Well, who would be the third man? Like, I mean, I would imagine they would go a 6-man tag match, wouldn't they? So
that's exactly.
So who would fill in? Would it be like would a Miz fill in there, or would a Randy Orton fill in there to go with Team Hell No?
I honestly think you're a conjo, please.
Oh, I was going to say if you're not going to have CM Punk at pay-per-view, and Shield's been attacking Ryback, I think that's your fit.
Oh, right.
Click.
Yeah. Sorry, that was dumb of me. Of course, Ryback would be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean that's the logical match about it. I don't think it'd main event though. That's
no.
Why. I do think John Cena versus Ziggler will probably be pushed, because that's the only other match they can probably make into a TLC match and make it good.
Okay, so I have a theory about that match. Do we want to go into it now?
Might as well.
All right. Obviously, now that they've booked this match officially, as far as Dolph versus John Cena, what do you guys think is the likelihood that Dolph will cash in early, win the title? Like let's say Big Show versus Sheamus is like your opening contest. So what are the likelihood that we'll see Dolph win, basically say, okay, well now I don't have to defend the Money in the Bank because I've used it and I've won. And then Vince McMahon books Cena versus Dolph as the main event for TLC with the title on the line.
It sounds nastily like that's what's going to happen.
Doesn't it?
When I say nastily, yeah, it does, yeah. It sounds very, very, very possible, and that's a bit worrying. I
mean, I don't know. I think they're still going to stick. It's just going to be the match for the case. As it was announced on Raw, John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler for the Money in the Bank case. That was what was lined up yesterday on Raw. I still think that's going to happen. I don't see Dolph cashing in beforehand. God,
I
just
think
don't
that would
want
be
to
better.
see.
I think that would be the
I think
better
it would make more
situation.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, no, I don't want to see Cena going up against the world title, but at the same time, I mean, that would make the main event feel more like a main event, not just the Money in the Bank title on the line.
If you're going to do that and have Dolph cash in, win the world title, then have to defend it later on in the show, you might as well get out the triple cage from Ready to Rumble and do that, because that's totally getting into Vince Russo booking.
No, and I agree, Joe. I mean, but obviously a big thing happened. CM Punk got hurt, so they're going to have to do something to basically make this pay-per-view buyable. You know, they're going to have to sell it somehow. So teasing that might happen, even with just us like hypothesizing that it might happen, I think is enough to get me to want to watch it, because that might take place.
It's going to have to create some interest with Ryback Punk. The whole damn bill's gone in one go. There's going to have to be something, so they're going to have to change something about the show, and probably something about the booking itself. And unfortunately, if Dolph Ziggler just happens to be the fall guy, and I think that's going to be as simple as that.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, they might even do this upcoming week. You know, they might not wait till the pay-per-view to make that kind of booking situation like I suggested. Like maybe Dolph cashes in next week to get out of the match kind of thing, and then Vince comes out and books the match. But, with that said, I don't like either scenario afterwards. I don't like the idea of maybe Cena holding the world title, and I don't know how that's good for WWE, because it's a SmackDown title, although it might get more viewers on SmackDown, and they kind of need that. And I don't like the idea of, well, I do like Dolph keeping the title. I do like that.
I mean, I like Dolph keeping the case. I mean, just having him for the case and having him keep the case so we can cash it in later. You know, have him beat Cena cleanly.
So
in the match that's currently booked.
Sure.
Don't add him. You know, I mean, if you want to make him work double, you're turning him into the next Jericho.
But that's that's your biggest match though on TLC. Like, how is that your biggest match?
I mean,
without a title or something on the line, it seems weird. I mean, I know Money in the Bank is on the line, but that's not main event worthy, I don't think.
I mean, I do. It's a freaking ladder match.
Yeah.
And it's John Cena. I mean, if John Cena versus Kane in an ambulance match can headline a pay-per-view, I think that Cena versus Ziggler in a ladder match for the Money in the Bank case is good enough. I mean,
but
you're gonna have the 6-man. If you're gonna do the 6-man, you might as well have that be the TLC match.
No, but it's too soon. Like, it only got announced yesterday. They've had no. They've had some build behind it, but they've had no. There's been no real build. There's in terms of for the actual case itself. So you can only build that around 1 week. The only way to create interest would be just for Dolph to win the title, and then put the title on the line against Cena, and then you've got a title match in a TLC in the main event of the TLC pay-per-view itself.
Fair. I mean, it's a valid point. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying that I don't want to see Cena going for another title. That's just me.
It's been a year. It's been a year since he had a title.
Yeah. And at the same time, I mean, Cena holding the world title isn't bad. That's not a bad idea. Especially because Sheamus is Sheamus and isn't really connecting with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I get annoyed by Sheamus, but then he makes a great Father Ted joke on Raw, and he wins me over.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, you need to watch Father Ted. It's good fun. Tonight, it's a comedy.
Okay.
It's funny. Okay, it's funny over here. It might be shit over there, but it's funny over here.
No, it's probably funny here for those of us who have class.
Well, that's very kind of you to say.
Yeah, see, there you go.
You hear that go?
No, apparently
I heard it, but I have no idea what Father Ted is, so I'm making a note to go watch it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go check it out, and maybe I'll stick it right next to old Greg.
Legitimately not a clue what that is.
All right. And maybe a little bit of Red Dwarf. Okay, so, anything else to talk about on Raw? Aside, I mean, the only thing left was the Miz TV with CM Punk.
Well, there was one other thing that I liked, and that was that they brought back Brad Maddox. I kind of like that they reintroduced him, and with that segment backstage, he's there just to remind people that he's still around, kind of thing. I didn't lost to Orton. Yeah, I didn't so much like the match per se, but it did throw that interesting spoke in the wheel with the Shield attacking Orton. Maybe there's some connection between Maddox and the Shield. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I like what they're doing overall with the Shield, and I think adding a touch of Brad Maddox in there is an okay thing.
Fair enough.
I do want to say one thing about Raw. The Raw rating this week was the worst. It was awful. Okay, just put it that way. It was awful. It lost 500,000 viewers.
Yikes. You know what? I totally passed over this one. I don't know how I did. It was supposed to be Kofi and Truth against Cesaro and Wade Barrett in a tag team match, and then Teddy Long comes out. What do you expect Teddy Long to do? You expect him doing it as a tag team match. But
oh my God, yeah.
What the hell do they do? He makes it a fatal 4-way match for a title that the WWE audience picks, and it ends up being for the U.S. title.
It was like Armageddon came early.
Yeah, it was like Bizarro World.
That was an awesome match.
Yes.
And if anybody was ever disputing the value of Cesaro, you saw it in that match.
Agreed.
You've elevated Cesaro with that match.
Yeah, you did. It was about time as well, because he was just starting to lose that edge as well. So yeah, it was good time.
Yeah, that's probably my shining moment of Raw. Was that match? That was just gold.
I loved when Teddy Long just came out and said, "We're not having a tag match." I legitimately think he trended just because of that.
Yeah.
No other reason at all.
I think half the fans watching just had a heart attack. Like, wait, what? Who broke Teddy Long? Did someone switch him from good to evil?
It was legitimately the twist of the year.
Teddy Long does not announce a tag team match. So does that mean he's going to announce like every tag team match into a fatal 4-way now? Because I'd be okay with that.
Have you heard a more shocking statement this year? And when I say more shocking, take out Claire Lynch out of that occasion.
Damn it! Damn it! I was going to go to that too. No, I think you've locked it, Lee. I think
there's nothing worse than that. And I never ever want to be reminded of that ever again. Ever.
Alrighty.
Ever.
Okay. If nobody else has anything else, just to remind everybody, TLC is taking place on December 16th. Mark your calendars, because we'll be sitting down to talk about TLC on December 15th, 2012. The exact time is to be determined, but with some of these matches up in the air, we're just going to have to see where all the chips fall. Jumping over to WWE news. CM Punk tied John Cena's record. And was it today? Yes, he broke it today. Or tied it today.
He tied it today.
Tomorrow. Yeah, tied it today. Breaks it tomorrow. 380 plus days as champion. The longest WWE champion in the last 25 years. How important is this for him, us, and the industry? Remember, you got 30 seconds. Rob.
Well, I think this is very important for the industry as well as fans and everything. I mean, 380 days and counting is an exceptionally long title reign. I'm thrilled to death that the WWE is actually doing it.
Lee?
I think there's a case to argue to that. I'm not going to lie. I'm the biggest CM Punk fan, as you probably more than aware. But in terms of WWE at the minute, I mean, it's great overall because you look back and it will be, a great period for Punk. It was the thing that turned him. It was the thing that made him well known. But just because WWE went to 3 hours, him as champion has made him the backfire of ratings and all this. And I just have a feeling if we're looking back in a year's time and we're just going to be talking about how shit and boring the 3 hour Raws were, and it just completely overshadows the certain segments that he's been involved in. So I think it's a bit of a mix, to be honest with you.
Garvin, your thoughts on how important the CM Punk title reign is to him, the us in the industry?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I definitely like that they gave him the ball and let him run with it. Overall, things have struggled as of late, but I don't think that's on Punk. I think that's just on everything in general.
I don't think it's on Punk, but I do think that when we look back, we will be talking more about the 3 hour Raws than we will be about Punk's title reign.
Which is unfortunate. I do think so, Rob. I think if we're gonna attribute the negative things, at least when we look back at this, we're gonna talk negatively about this part of our era that we're in. We're gonna look at the 3 hour Raws and the bad writing. We're not gonna look at CM Punk, but I think. And that might even overshadow CM Punk, unfortunately. But go ahead, Rob.
I don't think it'll overshadow him. I think we will look back on this and complain about the 3 hour Raws and how they hurt WWE. But this reign has pretty much, with the way he's going right now, this title reign has pretty much cemented the fact that CM Punk will be in the Hall of Fame. And not just will be in the Hall of Fame, but since this is the longest reign anybody's had in the last 25 years, this is going to be having CM Punk mentioned in the same breath as Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, people of that level of talent too. I think CM Punk will survive it and will still be remembered for the good contributions he's made.
It'd be interesting to see what happens in the next few months in terms of the Royal Rumble, the title, obviously, and then the WrestleMania about what position and who he faces. That'll be the most interesting bit. This is another thing. I think if The Rock beats him, then there's not going to be a lot of people happy about it. I certainly think there's going to be a lot less people happy about it than what everyone seems to think.
Well, I mean,
that reflects on Punk's legacy itself.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Lee. I think people tolerated The Rock beating Cena because it was, The Rock finally comes out of retirement, has his big match, beats Cena. If Rock beats CM Punk, there's going to be a lot of WWE fans who are going to be pissed off.
If The Rock beats CM Punk and we see John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania, I'm going to slap my head against this door. They just should not do it. It's such the wrong way to go about it. But,
okay.
We'll see.
So since we've been talking about the emergency surgery that Punk's had, and that the match has changed for TLC, when do you think the title reign's going to end for CM Punk? Nicholas from Facebook writes in, and he said, what they should do is take a leaf from UFC's book and introduce an interim title rather than strip Punk of the belt. Surely they can't have his reign end in such a crappy way. Have Rock win the interim title and have Punk face him at Mania to unify the belts. There was a rant that I went on in a pre-show recently about the UFC and interim titles. Because the recent interim title was not the first time they've done interim title. And I think an interim title is complete bullshit. I think if you're going to have an interim title, just strip the damn guy of a title. Interim titles are crap because you're essentially saying that this new guy is a champion, but we like this other guy saying he's also the champion, so we're probably going to have a champion. Then we're probably going to have an interim champion, and this guy's also an interim champion, and this is the interim champion, and then we're going to have all 5 guys, and then we got to have them all fight to determine who's really the champion. No, I think it's stupid. Rob?
I'm right there with you, Joe. If you're going to have 2 guys and basically say that 2 guys are holding the same belt, which is basically what an interim champion is, strip the champion of the belt, give it to the other guy, and then when the guy returns from injury, schedule a championship fight between those 2. In this case, CM Punk loses the belt to Rock. When CM Punk is healthy and comes back, you have CM Punk fight The Rock to determine the champion.
Lee?
Take your pick. Just take your pick. It's so hard to choose. I do think that CM Punk's gonna lose his title. Oh, bastard! Sorry. Sorry. I literally I texted Mike just saying, how do you fancy a trade? And he's just traded Radio Influence Randy Orton. I am not happy about that. Anyway, I do think CM Punk's title reign is gonna. I do reckon it's gonna end at the Royal Rumble, and I do think that they're gonna be go down the Cena and Rock route for WrestleMania. I do believe that.
Garvin.
Okay. I don't think they're going to take the title off of CM Punk because of the injury. I think they'll come up with some kind of loophole. Okay. So that, the 30-day thing that seems to only come up when it's appropriate for the storyline. I think this is one of those loopholes or one of the situations where they won't bring that up, and he'll be able to wait for a few weeks or maybe the next pay-per-view to defend the title. The idea of him losing it to The Rock, I also don't like, but just the situation of it. Like, at the Royal Rumble, no, I want to see Punk win. But at WrestleMania, Rock versus CM Punk, and CM Punk losing, I think that would be okay. Now, the interim championship discussion, okay? The only thing that bothers me about this is they already did this with CM Punk. If you remember, CM Punk won the title from John Cena at last year, and then left the company. When he came back, when they came back, they had already named Cena the champion, and then they had a champion versus champion to unify the spinning belts, kind of thing. So they've already done something like that. I don't think it would be appropriate to do it in this situation. I think that they're just gonna throw the 30 days out the window and wait till he's, ready to actually defend, the title, and then let him defend it. Because I think, doing it that way almost makes like this whole 380 plus day reign a sham if they're just gonna, drop the title now.
Well, I think if they have him, get attacked backstage to where he can't compete, I think that'll give him enough of a pass.
Right, and they're kind of doing that now with basically how they wrote the article on WWE.com was that he suffered injuries due to the Ryback attack on Raw. That's why he had the surgery according to the article. So because they did that, yeah, he has a pass for at least probably another month.
Yeah. Anybody else got a comment on this one, or are we good on this one?
Yeah, I think he has to the Royal Rumble, and I honestly think it's done.
Okie dokie. Alrighty, we're going to move on to Ask FTW, where we take your questions and throw ourselves at it, throw ourselves into the conversation, and we give you the answers to your questions. Because you're asking FTW. Simple concept, easy hashtag. It's all right there for you. Tony called in with a voicemail, and he asked,
Hi. Does it seem that the Shield is making a bigger impact than Aces and Eights? Or is it just because the difference between WWE writing team and TNA's?
Lee?
First things first, WWE haven't got better writers than TNA. They're all in very much the same mix right now at the minute. The Shield and the Ace and Eights they are two different storylines. I don't really think Ace and Eights can be compared to the Shield just because there are too many differences at the minute. But the Shield still feels fresh. But then again, we are only a few weeks into this. The Ace and Eights has been going on for quite a while now, and it did start slowly dragging. They've just not revealed too many things too quick enough, and I'm sure Rob will agree. The Ace and Eights is just kind of gone a bit stale and got a bit boring. Whereas the Shield, we're not used to something so vibrant and colourful on Raw, where to the normal shit. So, well, we'll see.
Rob?
Yeah, I think Lee is kind of right here. Aces and Eights is, the thing holding Aces and Eights down is you can make the argument that it's another NWO. I don't really subscribe to that. I just think TNA's doing a bad job of writing it. Meanwhile, the major complaint coming from WWE is that there's been no storyline. There's been no storyline. There's been no storyline. And now with the Shield, you've got the remnants of a storyline. So I think it's people just being surprised that the WWE is actually making an attempt more than it is the Shield being a quality storyline. We'll see as things develop, which turns out to be stronger.
Garvin?
The main problem with Aces and Eights is there's too many unknowns. When they first came, who are these people? And we're going to let them in our arena and then not stop them when they attack people. None of it made sense. Like, it was kind of cool to have this outsider type group come in and start attacking people, but they kept playing it up like we don't know who these guys are. With WWE and the Shield, though, it feels better because we do know who these guys are. They are in, they came from NXT, so they have a history, and we can do research on these guys. So it's like they're not depending on us being like, oh, I can't wait to find out, who these guys are, and then wait for 8, 12, 14, 16 weeks and still don't know who half the people are. They have an obvious goal and an obvious direction, while Aces and Eights still don't. Like, we still don't know why they're attacking people, other than they want to take TNA down. But that's ridiculous and unneeded.
Yeah, I want to take TNA down.
That's a good point. The watching the Aces and Eights storyline, you're prone to think, holy shit, TNA must have the worst security in the world.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure they have security.
They probably can't afford it.
I can't comment on that. I'm the one supposed to be insulting you, not the other way. Not.
Hey, I'm going by what the Aces and Eights storyline wants TNA fans to believe.
Alrighty. Well, we'll move on. So the question was raised by Mr. Mike Kupak.
Oh, God almighty.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck's sake.
So what is the consensus? Is Cena's knee injury a work or a shoot? It doesn't bother him, but they always talk about it. Mike, I'm going to flat out say it right now. It's a work. It's complete work, and if you didn't notice that before, eat a dick.
Well, I'm going to casually move on because I don't want to talk about that name in this podcast at the minute. He's betrayed a certain team, and yeah. He's betrayed us.
You're an a-hole, Mike. Rob?
I'm kind of with Lee here. There's a certain team loyalty, and Mike has decided to step outside of that circle. So fuck him.
See, man, they're turning on you, Mike. They're turning on you, and
well, I'm sorry, Joe. Do you know what? He just told me that the only reason he left was because you traded Ryback to me. So don't you start saying you fucking with him.
All right. Okay, fine. Garvin, so what do you think? Cena's knee injury, work or shoot?
I gotta say it's a work that is within some bad timing, considering CM Punk is also out with a meniscus tear. I'm gonna have to say it was a work just because of how they did it. How
bad would it be if they both broke their leg at the same time?
How bad would it be if Cena's was real and Punk's was a work?
No, it'd be the other way around where it'd be worse. Because then we would have Cena in about 5 segments a week on 4 shows, mixed in with him wrestling.
You'd have the entire third hour of Raw devoted just to John Cena.
Yeah. And don't forget the first half of the first hour to discuss hyping the discussion of John Cena.
Exactly.
And then the 4 replays of the Cena highlights itself throughout the show. So realistically, you're actually talking a good quarter of the show.
There you go. We'll move on. Thanks a lot, Mike, for that question. We appreciate it. LouTube Wins writes in on Twitter asking who would go on WWE's Mount Rushmore and who would go on TNA's. WWE ran a similar poll, which saw Undertaker, Austin, Cena, and Hogan on it. The only thing I've got to say is Hogan's definitely on it. I'm going to say Hogan, Triple H, Shawn Michaels.
How did Cena get over it over Shawn Michaels?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
And Austin, yeah. I think that's my 4. As far as TNA goes, actually, let's stick with WWE and we'll come back for TNA. So, Lee, who's that? What 4 guys would you slap onto mine?
Yeah, I'd put Hogan on there. I'd put Austin on there. I'd probably put HBK on there, and I'd probably put Vince on there as well.
Good call. I didn't even think about Vince. Rob?
Yeah, I'd go with Vince. I'd go with Hogan, Andre the Giant, and Bret Hart.
Nice. Garvin?
Just to defend Cena on there, I mean, he was the face of the company for that generation. So I think just looking at it, like after Austin left, Cena basically, I mean, it was Cena's company for the most part. I mean, you could even throw The Rock in there, I guess, would be up for it. But just seeing that Cena held the title for so long, he makes sense. But moving forward,
that's fair enough.
Moving forward, though, they would have to add a 5th head, and I would say put CM Punk there.
Okay. Wow. Jumping over to TNA's Mount Rushmore. Rob?
AJ Styles, Sting, Kurt Angle, James Storm, I guess, would be the 4th.
Lee?
Yeah, I'd take 3 of them. I won't put Kurt Angle on there. I'd have to put Dixie Carter on there. Or Claire Lynch.
I think Kurt Angle has been huge for TNA. He really helped TNA stay afloat when they needed star power.
Nope, fuck you, Rob. You made me change my mind. Claire Lynch is going on it.
Garvin?
Everyone that you named, Rob, except for I would probably add Eric Young, Matt Morgan, and Joey Ryan. Joey Ryan.
Joey Ryan just got to the fucking company. You can't put him up there. Jesus H. Christ, man.
Has your fucking beard been on your ears and eyes or something? What the fuck's wrong with you?
I'm going to probably go with Sting, Jeff Jarrett, AJ Styles, and Christian Cage.
Yeah.
Christian was big for them. He was one of the big first jumps.
Yeah. Jarrett being the founder, even though I particularly don't like him at all. But I don't either.
I think he's a cack.
But I could definitely see Christian, maybe even replace James Storm with Christian.
Yeah. So there we go. There you go. LuTube wins. That is everything that Ask Fail. No,
Ask
I'm an
Fail.
Ask Fail.
Deary me.
And there's my
FTW
fail of the
should be.
week right
I-
there.
This is like Harrison on 7-Up.
On 7-Up. What the fuck?
What?
And the Uncola? You said
Okay.
I'm Harrison on 7-Up, the Uncola.
Okay, I'm going to say that again. You're like Harrison on 5-Hour Energy. And that's the only advert I can remember when I watch Raw via stream sometimes. That's the only advert I can ever remember, 5-Hour Energy.
Let's move on to win fail, ladies and gentlemen.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here is your win
You do any job,
and fail
is to fucking get paid!
of the week.
Rob, your win of the week.
My win of the week is going to be the segment and the match between Christian Young and Christian York. Jesus,
Christian Young, what has happened?
Christian York and Bobby Roode. Just the segment before the match and then leading into the match was brilliant. It was one of the few high points of Impact.
Okay. Lee?
I'm going to have to go with Teddy Long on the swerve. That was brilliant. That was so good. I'll also have to go with the Shield and I have to be honest, I did quite like the Punk and CM Miz in the main event.
Punk and CM Miz. Okay.
I'm just following you guys. I thought I might as well make myself look like a twat since you're doing it as well. So just join in.
All right, it's Twatfest. Garfield.
Okay, I guess my win would be the opening to Raw. I really liked how they handled the whole Shield situation with Kane and Daniel Bryan. I thought that was fantastic. It just added a nice element, a nice mysterious element to it, just to see what they would do. And I thought that was probably the best part of Raw for me. Was that opener?
Okay. My win of the week, and I can't believe I'm saying this, was Diva Jill. She put out a tweet last night that had me rolling. She says, Cole has been a nice guy since King's heart attack, but Lawler still insults him constantly. What an asshole. And really, it's something I've been picking up on for a while. Jill, I appreciate that one so much. I laughed so hard at that send me your address. I'm going to send you a t-shirt. Done.
You just want the address.
No. Jill is one of those people who's like, you've been friends with a lot of people on this show, so it's not fair to send you a t-shirt when there's other listeners ahead of you, but you know what? There you go. You made me laugh my ass off. You're getting a t-shirt. For fuck's sake, what does the world come to?
I have another win of the week. The great Carly has just joined Twitter.
It's going to be worse than Chewbacca on Twitter.
Is it anywhere close to Iron Sheik on Twitter?
Iron Sheik on Twitter is probably one of the best things ever.
Oh, dear me.
Especially when he got on Sports Center. When he got on Sports Center saying fuck the whatever team. Fuck the Eagles or some shit like that. Oh my god. So funny. Fails of the week. Lee, what is your fail of the week?
My fail of the week is CM Punk getting injured. Because now we're fucking stuck with an ultimatum of who's going to main event, and that's going to end up being Cena, and that's going to end up him winning. So fuck you, Punk. I'm not happy about that. I'd also say, and I must have said this every week for the past 10 weeks, that the 3-hour Raw is a big fail as per normal, because by the time I've finished, I'm so tired. It's 4 o'clock in the morning here anyway, so it's more tired than normal. And I have to wake up at 6:30, 2 hours later, and just think, why the fuck did I watch that? It's depressing.
Fair enough. Garvin?
My fail of the week. Originally I wanted to give it to TNA. I didn't like the whole Aries versus RVD buildup, or the whole booking. I thought that was really awkward. But now my fail of the week is that we finally got a troll in the live chat, and I haven't really said anything for the last couple of minutes, but we have a troll in the live chat, and his name is Q Patch. Basically turning his back on Team FTW.
My God.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention his win of the week when I was going to go through the fans' wins of the week, but that's fine.
Yeah, it really bothers me, Mike, that you would turn your back on us, especially. Well, never mind. I don't even want to get into it because you've made me sad.
Oh no, Gav, you're going to get into it right now. We can make time for this.
You're going to go into it, Garv?
Oh, no, I'm not going to get into it.
Okay. Fine. Rob's fail of the week. Rob, what's your fail of the week?
My fail of the week is also kind of a two-parter. I mean, just TNA in general, they really dropped the ball on this week's Impact on the whole. Outside of that, the 3-hour Raw has just continued to be horrible, and WWE shows less than no signs of knowing what to do with 3 hours on a weekly basis.
Then again, I'd rather watch 3 hours of Raw than listen to 3 hours of Q Patch.
Well, that goes without saying. I'd rather be. I think I'd rather have my teeth removed with no anesthesia.
I'd rather have Claire Lynch on me. Putting that out there.
Way to go! That was brilliantly. Congratulations, you won up to me there, man. I will admit defeat.
It's not even a one-up. At least we're a team, and we're part of the team. Me and you argue at times, Rob, but at least we're part of a team, unlike certain other individuals.
Exactly. Who
All right.
will remain nameless.
Yeah.
My fails of the week: the forcing of the John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler match for the Money in the Bank. We'll see what happens with that. And my other fail is me picking Diva Jill as my win of the week. From the chat, wins of the week. Wins are Teddy Long and the Twitter fallout to Teddy Long. Another entry is TNA, The Miz TV, and Miz dissing CM Punk's mom, and the Fatal 4-Way match. Someone else writes in saying Dolph Ziggler. And their fails, the canceled TLC pay-per-view main event and CM Punk getting hurt. The stupid Punk marks who don't realize he's not a draw.
Of course.
Failed at Garvin for not getting into it.
I'm failing Garvin for that.
All right.
Yeah.
I got one statement.
Go for
All
it,
right,
Garvin.
I'll just drop it. All right. The thing that bothers me about Mike, honestly, is that Mike had every opportunity to pick up a bunch of people. Everyone was trying to trade with Mike to help Team FTW do well. But he wouldn't take it. He wanted to win on his own, and he lost, and now he's throwing sour grapes because he's a dick. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, you failed.
I mean,
sorry, you failed, man.
I used my resources. I went to Joe and asked for Ryback because we need to
You
win.
didn't go to me to ask for Ryback. I came to you and offered you Ryback. Don't
Joe, we're a team here. Remember that? Doesn't matter how the story goes.
Sleepy fucking Brit.
Just
All right.
smile and nod, Joe. Just smile and nod.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
You aren't my wife. I can't just smile and nod and say yes, dear. Not to you. I have to have a shred of humanity here.
The end of the game is that Q Patch has kind of had his last straw. The next draft, he may have to start with minus 30 points, and he may have to be on the listener's side as well, not our side.
Ooh.
And I will be voting for that.
He's technically already signed his allegiances to team listeners.
So there he goes. He's been bumped from Team FTW. Wow.
That's fine with me. I'm taking that.
So but he did so well this time around. He's not going to have a high seat for the draft.
That's his own problem. That's his own problem.
Sucks to be him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
He's fucked himself over.
I mean, have you seen the guy? Jeez. I kid, sorta. But
I kid, sorta.
All right.
I haven't seen the guy, but I imagine it'll be a massive fail. I'm just going to put that out there.
Fair enough. All right, guys, we are in the holiday season. You can't tell by our comments, but unfortunately, Christmas is going to fall into Tuesday night. Because of that, we're going to be doing a best of show, but we need your help to decide what's going on in this show. What are your favorite moments from these weekly discussions that we have that we should really add? There you go. We've had a lot of great submissions, like Harrison having a stroke talking about Vince Russo's seminar on pro wrestling writing. That one is just epic. So
it was.
Seriously, guys, if anybody wants to go back through our archives, if you can find, I don't even care if it's from the previous year, Rob doing his Scott Steiner imitation. Because
yes.
I cannot seem to find it, and I've listened to so many shows. I know it's out there somewhere. Send that one in. Let us know what episode it's in. But yeah, send us in your favorite moments and favorite topics from our podcast, and we will put it together in a best of show that will rock your nuts off.
God, it's been so long since I've done that Scott Steiner impression too.
I know. Maybe you got to do that on the 18th.
Maybe.
And that's it, guys. That's the show. Check out FTW Podcast for more information about us and how to get involved in the future. There's even a support tab where you can buy merchandise, donate to us, as well as links to us on iTunes and Stitcher, so you can rate us. And if you really want to, heck, we'll even let you buy a shirt, Mike, if you want to, try to appease us. To get on our good sides again. Until then, no Christmas for you. Thank you, everyone in the live chat except for Mike. We record FTW podcast episodes on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time at ftwlive.com. That's all I've got. Hey, Mike, kiss my dick, and we are out. See ya.
I'd just like to say that the Q-Patch, not only are you going down next season, you won't have a point. Not 1 point. I will make sure you get the shit of the shit. The Heath Slaters of the WWE, the Garrett Bischoffs of TNA. I don't even know who of the ROH because I'm so tired of it. Fuck you.
Dude, Slater's gonna slate. That's the problem.
I've made my point.
Good night, everyone.